Na mtazamaji, hebu sasa tuvuke katikati ya jiji ambapo mahojiano yanaendelea kuhusiana na sakata na vilevile mapungufu kadhaa ya hospitali kuu ya Kenyatta. Kwa sasa hivi Daktari Githai ambaye ni msimamizi wa kitengo cha afya ya umma pale Kenyatta anahojiwa kuelezea hali iko namna gani katika hospitali ya Kenyatta, haswa kufuatia upasuaji usio wa kichwa kwa mgonjwa fulani wiki jana.
I think that was my short statement. I had prepared something short, but I have more supporting evidence in my file.
Dr. Githai, you've said you had a meeting. Would like to know the date. The meeting that you advised that you suspend the officers, or when was this meeting, which date, and who was in that meeting?
It was Thursday. Thursday should have been 22nd of February. And in the meeting, there was the Principal College of Health Sciences, Professor Were, the CEO, Kenyatta National Hospital, Mrs. Lily Korostare, Dr. Thomas Motier, the head of Department of Medicine, and Dr. John Ongesh, the head of Surgical Services. We looked at what Dr. Itao had sent us, and we came to the conclusion that we need further investigation, and as we investigate, we needed all the personnel who are involved to be out of their stations.
You mentioned that the patient was not labeled at the ward, and you're in charge of the standards and to make sure that people adhere to the standards. Are the patients, you can take the members through, where is the labeling of patients done in Kenyatta National Hospital?
Actually, it's done in the ward level, but now we've corrected that. We want it to be done at the A&E level. We noticed that there was a weakness in that SOP, so that we will be labeling our patients at the A&E rather than in the wards. I think that is where ideally we missed.
So initially the patients were labeled at the ward level?
At the ward level.
Okay, members, you can ask questions. You have Honorable Mule.
Thank you very much, Chair. Dr. I want to get clarification that in your SOP as KNH, you're saying that labeling of patient is done, was supposed to be done at the ward level.
At the ward level, yes.
Who is responsible to do that? And what is the connection between the ward and the A&E? Because some of these patients I know, they're coming when they are completely confused.
Now, what happens, let me start. When you come to the A&E and you are confused, they always put a label. But for the general patients who are not confused, they do not always, because quite a number, like when you come in with head injury and you are not known, for example, you'll be called a non-African male, for example, they'll put that as a tag. But what I meant is, not all the patients are labeled in A&E. They are, like when you are coming in for example, let's say you're coming in for hernia surgery, you'll be admitted in a ward. When you go to the ward, as you are going to theater, they'll put the label. But that's what we are saying is we want to rectify that and make sure that everybody as they are admitted at A&E, they get that armband.
Just, Chair. Just to make up a follow-up, Chair. Dr. You are saying that the patients who come to A&E and they are confused, they are labeled at A&E. These two patients, as we had yesterday, seem to be at that state I'm talking about. Did A&E label these two patients?
When you look back at it, when you look back at it seems they were not labeled, tagged at A&E, rather they were labeled when they were in the ward. Looking back at it now.
Okay, we'll go to Dr. Mishra. Let's start with Dr. Mishra.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Good morning and welcome to this committee meeting. What is the current existing SOP as far as labeling is concerned in KNH? In different departments, it is any labeling is labeling. What is the current existing SOP, number one? Number two, you just mentioned there is some weakness in the SOP. What is that weakness according to you? And what should be the way forward ideally? Thank you very much.
Yes, that's what yeah, that's what I said. What we've noticed, there is that weakness that on the SOP, it should be very, very clear that on admission at A&E, the label, the bracelet, the release bracelet, because that's what we use, should be done at A&E. And I think that's why the weakness is, that is not specified clearly at the SOP of admission, that we should label the patients at admission at A&E or from the clinic or in the ward, but it's not very, very clear on the SOP that that's what should be done. Because had that been done, I think maybe we should not have had that confusion.
I think just as I give Dr. Nikau.
Not yet. I want to understand. Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. Labeling should be bilateral and it is complementary as well, because it is not only we just we have to define and describe a label. What should be the label? What should be the contents of the label? Number one. Number two, there should be specified numbering, registration numbering of the patient. The same patient, the 2-3 human beings can be same name with their what SOPs we have even in other departments. That is one. Number two, the registration of A&E, accident and emergency ward. How we register, do we register them apart from labeling? Because the health personnel who are working there, they also change the duties, they hand over. So how they hand over, all these details should be very important, Dr. It is not just to take one plastic band and name of the patient and labeling. Labeling of the patient has to be the source and also physical, both electronic and conventional and hand physically. So can we describe that? Thank you. Because that information and knowledge is important to decide about what happened and also the future way forward. Thank you.
Okay, what happens?
Na mtazamaji, ni kamati ya bunge ya afya hiyo ikiweza kuhoji wasimamizi mbalimbali wa hospitali kuu ya Kenyatta kuhusiana na upasuaji huo.